All right. I'm turned on now. Okay. All right. We got the Kings here tonight with us, our presidential diamonds. I know everybody is on the edge of their seats for some tips and tricks from Matt and Bailey. So I'll just turn it over to you.
Perfect. So we are Matt Bailey King. We live in Iowa with our 4 kids, 7, 5, 4, 2, number 5 on the way. And so we are all in the depths of homeschooling and parenting and learning to do this business together. And so we are, we're not too into like the fruit, and so we're going to give you tonight. Is that a nice way to put it?
That's very true.
So we're going to give you tonight the steps that we use and have found to work well for recruiting builders. And that's really been one of our keys. So we started this business 4.5 years ago, just because I wanted to teach my friends. I used to be an elementary teacher, and so I made a PowerPoint and taught some friends and didn't know what I was doing and enrolled a ton of them that night. And then I got a call or a text, I don't even know, from Jennifer Cancino.
I was asleep already.
Somewhere in our upline on day 14 and was like, hey, don't forget me to place all those people tonight. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know like placement. So I spent like 3 hours on YouTube, took a guess at it, woke him up, asked him for his opinion, and kind of went from there. And so we have just not had a plan really for many years. We just kind of did what the latest, greatest thing was. And so in the last year, we've really honed in our plan and have felt like that's made a difference. And a big thing for us, people ask our success, right? Like we don't have online presence. We don't enroll online. We never have. We literally are just small town Iowa people who have a lot of fun at our classes, and everybody wants to host their own class then. And so that's been a really big success for us, is that everybody wants to host. So we're always, always, always teaching. I probably, until a few months ago when baby 5 came and all I wanted to do is sleep, I was probably still teaching 2 to 3 classes a week. And before that, the years before that, probably 4 classes a week. So that's been my key, is just really consistent classes, getting people that want to book classes. And then what we're going to talk about tonight is the other key for us, and that's recruiting builders. So obviously this is a great business, but it's an amazing business when other people are doing it with you. And that's where the compensation plan really starts to work. And you get that residual income and you get that momentum as other people are doing it with you. And so we're going to go over kind of 3 keys that we think are important to recruiting. So I'll give you the first, I'll just list them for you and then we'll go through each of them. So the first one is, I call it dripping joy. We'll talk about that in a minute. The second one is, what does that word say? Oh, present the opportunity. Okay, so number 2 is presenting the opportunity. We're going to give you very specific ways of how to do that. Take it or leave it, your call. And then number 3 is have a plan. So when somebody says yes to the opportunity, you need a plan to launch them quickly and effectively, because we know that emotions roller coaster for those that want to do the business has a very sharp decline if they don't immediately get into the business steps and get into income producing activities. We're going to hit those 3. I'm going to make Matt start.
Yes. So dripping joy. So for this, as you get more experience with doTERRA, it's a lot easier to do because you start to realize, the products can really sell themselves. So we just really start selling kind of the lifestyle we have, right? So I like to golf, and I still golf with some buddies I used to work with. And last one we were talking about some stuff and about business and numbers, and he's like, so how can I do this? And it's just that simple. It's just talking about it. I wasn't out to get him as the builder, so he decided he wanted to do this. And another key step I'm sure we'll go over here is we've learned to only put in as much effort as those people put in, because before we throw as much effort as we could.
Has anybody here ever had somebody say they want to do the business, and the next thing you know, you're working like way harder than them, and you're placing way more people on their team, and you're investing more, and then like 6 months later, you're like, wait a minute. Like, you're not doing anything. And then you look back and like they never did anything the whole time. And you just had like this big hope bubble that they were going to be amazing. Like, we don't have hope bubbles anymore. And it's made a big difference. And I hate, like, we just talk about dripping joy and we're like, we don't have hope bubbles. Like, but you have to be realistic in that piece, which has nothing to do with dripping joy. But I do think that is maybe one of the mistakes we've made along the way, is believing in people before they showed that we should.
Right. So that dripping joy, I just, talking about what we do and what we love to do. And he wanted to give it a try, and we told him right away, like, we're here for you. We'll put as much effort as you. And that person has not worked out in the business. They haven't put any effort in. They're kind of flaky on the product right now. So perfectly fine. We should continue to drip joy. So, continue to go golfing and tell my friends. It's pretty simple to do. And we actually, we do this in person, obviously, golfing, just out talking to our friends, family who aren't already with us. And also just on our small online presence. So we have our own team Facebook group. So all of our users are there, and we just post in there all the time. And it's all, oil stuff as well as fun stuff. Like she said, we're pretty fun, outgoing couple. And recently we just had another person. It's been a user for, I don't know how many years.
3 years, yeah.
Maybe since about the beginning. And their life is to the point where they've seen what we've done. They, they see everything that we're posting online, and they said, how can we get a spot on your team to get to the point where you are to enjoy, our life, because they're kind of crazy right now with their current position. So it's just being proud of what you are. It's not bragging, really. It feels like bragging sometimes, but if you don't tell people, unless you're on this call, you have no idea what presidential diamond means, right? So you kind of have to talk about what that is and be proud of it. And it's not bragging. I mean, it's just being proud of it and not be afraid to do that.
Until you get to the point where maybe you can talk about the success you've had, being a general joyful person will actually attract builders. And so I don't know how many of you were at convention, but Gina Truman obviously is all of our upline, but her whole story of a magnet for miracles, right? And I think a piece of that is having people see that money hasn't made us evil people, and we still have fun, and the life that we lead, a lot of people wish they could have, right? We took 3 weeks off before convention and went to national parks with our family.
They think they want that. They have to remember we have 4 kids in the RV with us. So
it wasn't all sunshine.
It's not all 3 weeks of
but
glory.
We didn't post that.
Right.
Luckily, we had days without Wi-Fi, and therefore nobody saw the drama that was happening. Literally, day 2 at Yellowstone National Park, our kids are like, we saw the bear yesterday. What are we doing today? And I'm like, oh, well, we were going to do more of that. So but the point is just being the person that is attracting builders, right? We have seen it over and over. The people who are negative, and sometimes they don't even realize it, have a very hard time getting anybody to want to do this business with you, because you are definitely selling yourself when you recruit. These people are going to be working with you. They're going to be taking your guidance. So A, act like you know what you're doing, and B, be joyful about it, because that's what's going to help attract them. Okay. Moving on, and you can interrupt us. Let me pull the chat up. You can interrupt us at any point, unmute or chat, whatever you want, because we homeschool 4 kids, 7 and under, and we're interrupted all day. And if you just don't scream with a whiny voice, we're good. We're all good. All right, number 2.
The word we can't read.
Present an opportunity. So to learn more. So there are 2 points that I think are really critical for doing this. At the end of a class, which I know some of you are like, wait, what? I'll tell you how in a minute. And we call it membership overview. You might call it honest consult. What else are they called? You know what I mean. There's a bajillion names for it. So how we do it at the end of a class. So as the class is ending, we simply say that there are 3 types of people that come to these classes. The first type of person is somebody who wants to improve their family's health. Awesome. We have awesome ways to support you. And then we list the ways, right? We have a Facebook group where you're going to get your questions answered almost 24 hours a day. We have awesome books and apps where you can look up things. And the best thing is you're going to get a personalized overview with me. For 45 minutes, we're going to make sure you know how to use everything you've got. All right? I'm sure you guys know how to say that. Second type of person is the type of person who's sitting here thinking, I wish my best friend Susie was here, or my sister Stan, or my coworker Beth, because you already know something you learned about tonight could help them with their health, right? If that's the type of person, if that's you, awesome. We have great Hostess Awards program as well. let me know at the end of class, and we'll totally get them some oils to try and educate them and help them as well. We love helping other people, right? Third type of person has been sitting in this class thinking like, I could totally do what she's doing. I could help others. If this is you, I love talking about the doTERRA business because it actually allows you to either supplement or replace your income. Totally up to you. My two favorite things about the business, there's no sales requirements each month and there's no inventory. So this is literally zero risk to get started. If the number 2 or 3 type of people is you, hang around after the class. I'm going to get some peppermint brownies out and I'm going to talk to you about the joy of sharing essential oils. So then about half the people after the class want those dang brownies, so they stay for 15 minutes to learn about the joy of sharing essential oils / a really condensed business overview. And you know, only about 1 in 8 of the people are going to actually take you up on the business opportunity, but you're just dripping information, right? If they can learn a little bit about the business side, then maybe at their overview, they'll be ready to learn more, or maybe 6 months later, they'll come back to you. And so during that, we call it the class after class, and this is actually taken from Elise Chatavi, kind of the system she uses. So that class after class, I hand out peppermint brownies to everybody, and I either ask the host to make them or I bring them, and then I give everybody, what's it called, the build guide? Build guide from doTERRA, right? And so I'm just going to basically go through that, and there's kind of some important parts that I go through. So I share why I love doTERRA. I'm just really looking at my notes so I don't mess this up. And so I just say that I'm passionate about sharing oils, but I'm also really passionate about empowering people to change their lives financially. And so I give a little, you know, like I remember when I was first starting, I didn't know what I was doing, blah, 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 right? Just a little about myself in the business. Then basically, will you grab me one? It'd make this way easier. Yeah. Then the main point I want to drive home is the pipeline. And that's like right inside the build guide. So like you're following it. You don't have to like memorize this all, right? So I'm going to talk on page 1 about a pipeline. Most people in the US, and I say this, don't even know what residual income is. And I just simplify it. If you want to read the story, go for it. But I simplify it and I say it's really getting paid for a lifetime on the work I do in the beginning. So every customer that I help, I will be paid for the rest of my life on. So that's kind of that piece. And then sometimes I throw in some statistics because it helps people kind of like connect with what I'm offering. So a couple of my favorite statistics are that 77% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And I totally shove this on a sticky note in my book, right? Like take notes, it's fine. And that 40% of Americans say $500 of extra income a month would dramatically improve their financial situation. And then I just say, I know that some of you in this room, I love that you're here to learn more. All right. Then I go over this section, and this is like the key to the doTERRA business, right? The whole point of our business is retention rate. And so I quickly explain retention rate, right? That's the percent of people reordering. And I ask them like, what do you think the retention rate is for like Tupperware or like a leggings company or something? And they kind of throw some numbers out. And then I tell them what doTERRA is, right? 65% is in here. I've seen 72 before or whatever. And I just tell them that that is the difference, right? People are willing to invest continually in their health, something they don't feel is necessarily optional. And then, you know, you can talk about some of the things on that page if you want to talk about the growth or the testing and why that makes doTERRA the best oil available, or the owners or pictures on there, whatever you want, like touch on some things on this page, stick to the retention rate because that's really the key here, all right? And then I'm going to give them a really simple overview of what we do, right? That's the next thing people want to know. What do you do for this job? So that fits perfectly because the next page is pipes. So I say there's 5 things I do in this business. I hand out samples and I prepare people. I invite them to learn more. I present, whether that's one-on-one in a coffee shop or in a group like this. I help them choose the oils and the kits that are best going to fit their needs, and I support them to make sure they know how to use the oils. That's it. That's what you guys are doing every day. That's what you want your people to be doing, right? So tell them that's what they're going to do. All right, this page, don't get too crazy caught up in with the incomes and all that jazz, the compensation plan. If you know my husband, you know that he could talk on compensation plan for weeks at a time. However, you don't want to scare your people. So therefore, Matt doesn't discuss anything on this page. what you want to do is you keep it really broad. There's 5 ways you get paid with doTERRA. I love that I get paid 5 different ways. In fact, my favorite way is I get paid every single week. And this is the way you're going to earn the most of your money right away. You're going to make 20% on everything you sell. Keep it simple, all right? They can do the math. They sell $100, they get $20 back. Like, they can do that. And then I just say, you know, one of the most common questions I get asked, and I'm totally okay with it, is what is possible? And so here you'll see on this chart, I should have done screen sharing. This is silly.
Yeah, could have.
I still could, but whatever. You'll see on this chart the possibilities with doTERRA. And so I am really straightforward. I say the month's average on the bottom is an average in the business. And for most people that I work with, they're above average, so we can move quicker than the averages, right? And so I'll just say, you know, at 6 months, most people can be earning $500 to $700 a month. That's a really great first goal for most people. 2 years in, most people can be just under $5,000 a month. That's life-changing for most people. And they're like, yeah, totally. And I say it all the way at the other end, you'll see Presidential Diamond can make over $100,000 a month. But the cool thing is there's really no cap. So if you want to go past that, you can. And usually they're just like glazed eyes. They can't even imagine. That's okay. All right. And then I end with this page 9, which talks about, and you guys can pull this up by PDF if you didn't know this, just Google doTERRA Bill Guide. Page 9 talks about the 3 different types of people. And really I love about this is that it tells you the hours per week. Because that's really where I want to drive home, is this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. There actually has to be time and effort. And so I say for most people, they're looking at that supplement range. And so they're going to be working 10 to 15 hours a week. Most people, that's going to be nights and weekends, because that's when other people are free, but you can decide when that is, right? And if you put in those hours per week, most people can reach silver in 6 to 9 months. That's an average income of about $1,000 at the beginning, $2,000 when you're consistent. Most people are excited about that, right? And then I literally just close with, you know, if this is something, that's a lie. Before I close, I tell a few success stories. So I'll share our success story. If you don't have them, share mine, share somebody else's, right? So one of the things I love most about doTERRA is they want to be known as the company that gets the most people out of debt. Isn't that so cool? They even have a plan to help people just do that, and they celebrate as you pay off your debt. I know within our own team, we've seen people retire from their corporate careers because they've earned enough residual income. Families have taken their first vacations. People have begun to dream of owning homes they never thought before, right? Give some specific stories that you know, and then I just tell them the next steps. Those of you that have had your interest peaked tonight and want to have a few more of your questions answered, grab me as you eat your peppermint brownie and we can talk again. Or when your oils come in, when me up, have some questions ready. I'd be happy to answer them. And then people are going to go home with this. They're going to start to dream a little bit. And that's all I want them to do. All right. So that is step 2.
So you went through that obviously way fast because a lot of them already know a lot of the stuff. How long does that normally take at a class?
20 minutes, no more. Because I told them it'd be quick, getting their dang brownie and getting out.
Yeah. And this is critical too, because not everybody loves teaching classes, and Bailey loves teaching classes. So she'll teach classes, you know, we have a community class here, so she'll teach that, and then she offers this class after class for anybody that wants to stay around, which is great because some people are afraid to even bring up the business. But if they have their contacts there and we can just continuously drop this on them, they may, you know, they're interested in it, but they didn't even know about it. If we wouldn't have done this, they wouldn't have known about it and maybe never done the business.
And I think something you have to think about, because sure, the first time you do it, it's going to be horrible. Like, just go in knowing it's going to be horrible. You're going to slaughter it. It's all right. If somebody hadn't been brave enough to give you the opportunity to learn more, how different would your life look? And so I just don't think you are blowing up and you never
blow up. Because we got team watching, they're giving me hints. And
I just don't think you get to decide if other people say yes or no. And sure, you're going to have people say no. And you're going to have people, I have all the time, classes where nobody stays after to learn more. It's okay.
More brownies for us.
Darn right. But if you have at least given them the opportunity to learn more, like, that's your job. And so don't take your own fear and let it stop you. I think we see that a lot, and that's not really fair to other people. Second place you're going to present the opportunity is at the membership overview. It can literally be as simple as, have you ever thought about learning more what it looks like to earn money with doTERRA? Something very simple, right? And then if you're not ready to share more, then set up a second time to meet with them. If they say, yeah, like, I think it'd be cool to learn more about maybe earning some money or getting my oils paid for, awesome. I have Monday at 7 or Wednesday at 8, which works better. And then go home and prepare, and then you can meet. And basically you're doing the same thing. You're going through this build guide with them, but at the end you get to be a little more personal, right? Like, if doTERRA could be everything you wanted it to be, where would you fall in this chart, right? And that's basically the income chart. If you had all the time, not if you had all the time, if you looked at your schedule and could carve out time for doTERRA, how much time would that look like each week? That's important for you to know as their upline. Is it 2 hours or is it 20 hours? That makes a big difference for placements, right? And so make sure at the overview you're asking every person. If they say no, then I ask them to host, right? All right, number 3, have a plan to launch a new builder quickly. So somebody says yes. Are you like, oh God, what do I do? Or are you like, yes, let's roll, right? You need to have a plan in place. Oh, Taryn has a question. What do you tell your people when they say, I can't share, I'm not educated enough on doTERRA? Are you meaning the business? I can't share the business? Just typing, I think. The oils.
So one thing Bailey's really changed with her classes is she goes over the top 10 oils, and then like she gives them a book as well. So you can look up the oils, but then if you have your own ailments, you can look up what oils you could use for that. And a big thing that she has changed, because she does know a ton of information, a lot of experience, you know, like somebody says, I have a headache, what can I use for that? Okay, peppermint's first thing, right? Maybe apply one at a time, whatever. But you know what? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you, go look in the book. Because then that shows people, oh, it's really that easy to do it. You don't have to know the information.
We actually kind of learned that we were driving away builders when I acted like I knew every oil for every ailment. And so I literally would just tell your person, Taryn, that like the more that you show how easy it is to look up ailments and oils, the more you're actually improving your recruiting. And so we don't have to know it all. That's the beauty. We just have to be willing to be the source to teach other people how to look things up. And if you know the alphabet, you can do this. And if you don't, like there's a really cool song you can learn. We're working on that right now with one kid who's stuck at G. And so you can actually really do this very simply. Like you don't have to know it all. And I think you have to convey that to them. There's also a point where though they have to have the belief in themselves, right? So I totally believe in believing in my builders before they have belief in themselves, but you also have to realize like sometimes they just need pushed out of the nest to share, right? And I think just if you have a story you can bring up for them, like remember the time that you totally changed Shelby's life because you helped show her how to use Claricolm for her cramps, like whatever it is, like draw on a success they've had. Like what if you hadn't done that? You can do that. You know what I mean? Like just being able to kind of draw on the success they've had. Okay, having a plan to launch quickly and effectively. So something that I believe is coming in the next like 6 months. I think it's called like Elite Camp or something like that, where doTERRA actually has like an online launch training that they're making. I don't know a ton about it. We just got, we were in conversation with Haley Hobson a little bit about it because she's on the committee. So that is something that you would want to push them through quickly, some sort of training program, right? Whether it's something you've created or whatever it is, I personally believe that all of the, oh gosh, what's it called? Empowered Success?
Yeah, I think so.
Empowered Success is a little much. I like to keep it a little more simple to launch a builder, right? They just need to know how to sample, invite, teach a class, and do a membership overview. But if that's what you like, go for it. Just have some sort of plan to quickly get them through the information. And then what we do is we do 4 classes in 10 days. So I teach the first one, we co-teach 2 and 3, they teach number 4 on their own. And what that does is it creates amazing momentum because they now have people from 4 classes to place at the same time. And so they don't have to get stuck with their grandmas and aunts that came to the first class being near the front of their tree. They actually have everybody from those first 4 classes to decide who would be the best placements. Because really what we want to do is we want to give them great placements off the bat because you can recover from bad placements, but why wouldn't you want a new builder to do better than what you probably did, right? And so teaching them that, to look for those better placements to start is helpful. Also, with 4 classes in 10 days, they're going to get amazing fast starts, which is highly motivating for people. And they're going to probably, because you're there to help as well, find a few people that at least want to share or build. And so you're right there to help them get those people up and going. Think if you had started this business with a builder in your first 10 days. It would look a lot different to have that excitement and momentum of somebody right alongside of you. And so that's a big part too. And we help teach them how to invite. We make them role play on Zoom, how to invite. So when they go to do it, they don't feel awkward. We go over the class, and they watch the first one and then we do the second one together. So it's kind of just like, I used to be a teacher. It's kind of like student teaching, right? Doing it and showing it together, and then you kind of let them fly. Now, if you're not near them, maybe your first class is online together so they can watch you teach that, and then they do class 2 and 3 and they're home alone, or you're there on Zoom to answer questions or whatnot. There's ways to do it. You don't have to be local, but we tend to be able, we're lucky enough that we're in an RV about half the year, so we tend to be able to go to people, and that works well, but there's some options there. All right, we talk really fast. So what questions can we answer? Somebody unmuted? Oh, Romy?
Yep, I am muted. I'm fascinated just listening to you guys. You're just inspiring, and I love the clean process that you guys do and how you share. It's just clean.
And it's not for everybody, like we'll be the first to admit it, but for us, we just got to the point where we had to get it nailed down. And that had to be something that we could teach to others and they can take it or leave it. And so, there's some people this won't jive with, but I think for most, at least stick to the skeleton of it, right? And then you can do your flair if you want. We found after a few years, too much flair is hard to duplicate. And so we've just gone back to like very regimen, and it's working. So
yeah. And like they said, you can download the resources that they're talking about and get it in PDF, but it's also available in your back office.
Yeah, so you're gonna want to get like a 10 or 20 pack, so you have one to hand to every person that stays after for that class after the class for the build guide.
Yeah. So I love the little booklet. I give out the booklets like that because when I started, that was my lifeline. I mean, it was just a little pamphlet, and it was actually Boyd's pamphlet that Natalie gave me, and that's the one that's my favorite. I like that. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones out there. What do you guys give out?
The essential oils simplified. Everybody gets one with every sample we give. And then the essential oils expanded, they can either buy from us or their overview, or if they set up 100 LRP, we give it to them free. So those are the 2 that we use. They're Boyd's. They're really good. Probably what you had, but like in a different version.
Totally a different version. So if you guys don't know how to get Boyd's resources, just go to truewellness.com. And you can order from there. You can get the expanded, the little booklets, also the Symphony of the Cells. They have good resources there.
And if you're gonna do, is it 24 books or more? You can email in to get a discount if you're gonna do like a group order for you and your team.
Yeah.
Hello, Kings. This is Iris.
Hey, Iris, how are you?
Good. So are you. I can tell. What about getting the canceled LRPs back? Can you talk to us some about that? We mentioned Rhonda had a
yeah, you guys had comments
post to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that usually comes down to either needing another or maybe a first membership overview. So I think always reaching out. I don't address the fact they canceled their LRP. I just act like it's a customer service call, right? So just checking in. Are there any oils that you aren't using I can answer questions on? Also, I like to do, if you know you've done one before, you can just say. I like to do repeat overviews. We have so many new oils, and maybe your needs have changed in the last year. Are you open to meeting up and going over the oils that are best going to suit your needs and making sure you're using what you have? Most people don't want to waste what they have, so they'll say yes, right? And you can throw in a free gift or a roller or something. So that's a great way to check in with people that have dropped their LRP. I think it always just comes back to education, right? So are you educating your customers? Do you have some sort of users group that you can drop them in from an upline or your own? And are you actually giving useful information in there? So, talking about like before and afters are awesome. So like Yarrow Palm, we just did a before and after. Somebody has super dry heels and they put that on for like a week and their heels look amazing. Well, guess what everybody wants now? Yarrow Palm, right? And so
Guess what's not available right now?
Guess you're going to get the convention kit to get the dang Yarrow Palm, right? And so, just simple things like that to continue education.
Like another thing is, it needs to be a personal touch too. Like an email. Email is just so busy anymore that, I don't know, I just delete a lot of stuff anymore, right? A text or a phone call, maybe a Facebook message, it's just a lot more personal. It's just you and them in a conversation. I think that's more effective as well.
Right, totally. Yeah, you can't do like a mass email.
Right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So there's a lot of questions when it comes to, stuff like that and reaching out to people on your team. Some people are hesitant to reach out to someone that is deep or they are not the enroller. What do you guys say about that?
We have awesome leaders who take care of their team, so we don't really have to do much of that. I think from talking to them, since they're more in the position, they typically will ask the enroller. So if the enroller is active, they will just say like, hey, I'm doing these customer appreciation calls. Is this something you want to do with your team, right? Most active builders are going to be like, yeah, tell me what to do. Like, I'm in. If the enroller is not active, then I believe you're allowed to call them and support them. And I just say, I'm part of your essential oil support team, along with Sarah, right? Maybe Sarah was the enroller, but she dropped off the face of the earth. I don't think it's creepy to offer support. And so I'm good with it knowing where people aren't active, and where they are active, just reach out to them. They'll do the work if you give them the information. And I like to just ask, by when would you be able to do that? So I know that builder Sarah is planning to get these calls done in the next 2 weeks. So I don't even have to keep hounding her and annoying her. I just know at the end of the 2 weeks, I can check in. How did those calls go? And so for me, that's, I think, kind of a safe line.
You kind of have to know your leaders too, because if you know somebody's going to hate it if you step over them, then obviously don't do that. But,
most
I think just communication is
yeah.
the big thing there. Like, ask if it's okay, if they're not going to do it, and move forward.
So Melissa said, what classes are people most drawn to that you're teaching? So we get this question a lot. We teach the same intro class over and over. I've probably taught the same class 1,500 times.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And so it's the same class. And this is literally, this is the outline. I'll give it to you. It's really easy, ridiculously easy. I tell them 3 cool things about essential oils, that they're doTERRA essential oils. They're 100% natural and safe. So we talk about testing, there's no side effects, etc. I tell them that they're more effective than prescription medications and over-the-counter medications. And I talk a little bit in simple terms about the fact that oils, and I hold up a bottle, oils can actually penetrate the cell to actually affect our cells, whereas medications are synthetic and they can't get through that oily membrane. Sounds complicated, it's not. And then I talk about how they're cheaper than over-the-counter prescription medications. And I give a quick story, like if you went to the doctor for an ear infection, what's it going to cost you? What's it going to cost you to see the doctor? What's it going to cost you for the prescription copay, right? And I'll say, would it be cool if I told you that for 64 cents, you could treat that tonight and have no side effects of antibiotics? All right, point proven, right? So now they know how safe they are, doTERRA specifically, how effective they are, like they're legit, this isn't like hokey, and that they're actually cheaper. And then I just teach them the 3 ways to use them: aromatic, topical, internal. ask for a few testimonials for people that have had samples to share, and then I tell them how to buy. That's it. I did miss one thing. When I'm teaching the different things, like that they're more effective and how to use them, I'm asking every time I teach something, what is it that makes these more effective than over the counter? Oh, they can penetrate the cell. You're right. This is a little vial of peppermint. Peppermint is good for, take notes, headaches, energy, nausea, cooling. So I'm teaching the 10 oils as we go through the class, and they're taking notes. So at the end, they've learned the top 10 oils, and they've heard other people share what worked for them. Now they're ready to buy. It sounds complicated, it's not, but it's the same intro class. It doesn't have to look like mine. Just teach them the top 10 oils. Let other people say how good they've worked for them, so you get that effect of the crowd, and then teach them how to buy. Can you go over placement stuff? Is it something you have to do in your back office based on how and when you enroll them? Hammy, I love that question. I don't think I'm in the right place to talk placements tonight. What I would suggest is you reach out to the person that enrolled you, your upline, because depending on how your team looks, is going to have a whole different feel for placement. So if you get stuck, keep reaching up your upline. But I can guarantee somebody has knowledge on teaching placements. It's just really, you get to place them on your team after you help somebody get their kit.
There's so many variables with that. It's hard to just say, here's what you do. You know?
Yeah. That would be like a whole nother Zoom.
I wish it was just here's what you did. Make it so easy for everybody.
Never mistakes. So yeah, I just teach the same intro class, Melissa, over and over, and people, you know, they want to hear it again once they have their oil, so they want to host, and it works pretty well for us.
I think it's good to hear that, because I do think that people, I mean, obviously I don't do classes. I wish that I could do a class in the way that you're talking about, but even when I do a class, it's like, I cannot tell you the amount of tear pads that I have bought from the beginning. I don't buy them anymore, but it was just trying to get that resource. What should I teach? A lot of people ask, what should I teach? And I love the simplicity of just the same thing. And the nice thing about that is that you really get to perfect your presentation as well. You're not constantly learning something new every time you do a class. Being able to say that I've done 1,500 classes of the same class and seeing the results that you're getting in that way, I think that's really powerful, to be able to know that it's okay to keep it simple, and it's okay to just perfect just the one thing and move forward in that way.
It's fun and interactive, right? Because people are constantly winning free oils through the class, just little drams. And so it's fun and interactive, and that's why people want to host, because they want more fun, free stuff, and it's easy. And I think, you know, we did the rollerball thing for a little bit. It was fun.
So I was gonna say, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but we did do that.
People had a hard time closing.
Right, people would come because we would say, come make a free rollerball. So they get one roller, and then if they enroll, they would get to make the next 4. But a lot of people would come just because they wanted that one free thing. And then they don't really want to enroll, they just want a free thing, right? And some people would come to multiple classes. They would, I think somebody got all 5 because they came to 5 classes, right? Like, it's a good idea, but another thing too is that can get expensive, especially for a new builder. So it's hard.
If it's working for you, do it. But I would challenge you to stop and think how your recruiting is. Because oftentimes I feel like somebody that wants to do the business can be turned off by all that stuff. And so we did it for a while. We still have some people that do it and love it. But I found most of our team had a very hard time closing a sale when they just had their free stuff to go home with. So what incentives do you offer for booking and hosting? So when they book their class, they get an empty keychain right that night, because they've already won free vials during the class. And so now they can put those in the keychain. And then for every guest that shows up at their class, they choose another vial to fill their keychain of the pre-made ones. Like, there's no frankincense and helichrysum and Melissa in there. It's a pre-made basket, right? And so that's usually what I offer. And then My hostess gifts are all over the place. Something that I keep going
Whatever
back
she
to.
finds on the table, that's a doTERRA product and she can throw in her bag. I saw a baby kit in there the other day.
You guys, this is what I do. You're going to laugh. Like, I'm literally sweating thinking about sharing this. So I have a really cute, like, convention.
Like the reusable grocery bags.
Yep. And I throw stuff in it, usually $20 or less, that I have extra of. I've cashed in points. It's free product of the month. It could even be DIY stuff. I've even gotten like 3 packs of dryer balls off of Amazon and put a sample vial of Purify and called that a gift. And basically what I do, and I tell the hostess this, you want them to know ahead of time, is that for every 3 people that show up, they choose a gift out of the bag. So if they have 9 people there, they choose 3 gifts out. Like, people love choosing their own free stuff, and I don't have to think about it. And so, and for every class's book, they get another gift. So I had a gal the other night, she had 9 people show up, 2 classes booked. She got 5 gifts out of my bag. Now, some people will be calculating, what did that cost me? You guys, I got 8 out of 9 enrollments and 2 more classes booked. Like, I'll take that any day of the week for like 30 or 40 bucks in free gifts. I mean, way more than that. And most of it, I can use points, or it's dirt cheap off Amazon. Glass water bottles with a little thing of lemon in it, like whatever. And so I show them that. Like, I email them ahead of time so they know they have an actual incentive to get more people there the night of the class.
Yeah, I know we have a bunch of leaders that they'll save their points just for those types of items. Like,
And you can get like the, what is it, spa kit?
no, there's a
I
lot.
think it's called the spa kit, but it's not like spa products. It's 4 5 ml oils. Or the travel kit is 4 5 ml oils, and each of those can be a gift. And it's going to cost you like.
Is the Class 7 box still available?
Mm-hmm.
Because that has the 10 wild
Oranges,
orange, right?
yeah.
So we've had people do that too, just for the 10 wild orange.
Yeah. I don't think it matters. I think a gift is a gift. People like free stuff. That's just what works for me, because I don't, to be honest, I'm like 20 minutes before I need to be out the door, like pulling kids off of me and
It was like 3 minutes before the Zoom started.
Trying to
when I'm
get-
walking out to the office finally.
trying to get a plan. And so I just need something quick I can grab. And if I have a class night before and the bag's half empty, guess what? Hostess B has no idea that half the stuff is gone. She's still happy to choose her own stuff. So it works for me. Vendor booths. So we do occasional vendor booths. We find they're not well advertised in our area, and so they're not well attended, and so it's usually not a super great use of our time.
The biggest thing with the vendor booths is you have to be out front sampling people. You can't just sit back and hope they're going to come to you, because
They won't.
they won't,
Or the
unless
people
you
that
have like
come to
free
you.
candy. They might come get that, right?
But the people that come to you already have oils and they just want to talk about oils, right?
Right.
So we just stand in front with peppermint and orange and just say, do you want a free pick-me-up? Most people are tired, because that's our society. Put a drop of peppermint orange in their hands, tell them what it is, how to use it, breathe it in, back of their neck, ask if they'd like to learn more, or a different free sample, get their info, and then we text them later that week of, so great to meet you, and basically figure out a way to get them a sample and then schedule a one-on-one.
And I think it depends on the vendor fair itself too, because we've done a health fair, and it's like one of those where your employer forces you to go.
You get
So
like
it's
a
not like
paid
I really
2-hour
want to be there,
lunch.
but I'm going to go there. So I'll take a free sample, right? But I'm not really going to get anything just because I have to be there. So one of Bailey's big successes actually at a vendor fair is when during a slow time, walking around peppermint to the other vendors. Like, hey, you guys want a little pick-me-ups, you know? So they'll give it to them. And we've actually had more enrollments from other vendors than probably attendees.
I think if you have the time to do it and you're not swamped with other doTERRA stuff, like, it's worth a shot. Did we read them all? Yeah, you're welcome. I think we got them all. Anything else?
Well, that was awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very.
We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. We know your time is valuable. You're very busy, and we really appreciate you.
We're just glad all the kids stayed in their bed, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is fun. Usually they have like this fifth sense, I would say. Sixth sense, where they know we're on the Zoom and they come creeping out. So I'm just happy that it was quiet.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, I thought it was really good, and you know, we have a lot of people, everybody in doTERRA stumbles with the same problem, basically. But one thing to know that you guys have gotten to where you've gotten teaching the same class 1,500 times. I think that should be an eye-opener for anybody that's on this call, because we're always looking for new ways. Like Romy said before, I mean, if I had all the money back that we spent on tear pads and all that stuff and trying to find a different system stuff. But I mean, I'm the one that ordered them most of the time. So, and I'm the one that threw them away. So, but I think that should help just about everybody on this call, if not everybody on the call, just to know that you haven't tried to find something new all the time. You've just been driving with the same nail the whole time, and you've finally gotten it through the board. And I think that should help everybody on this call.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for us. We, when we spoke at leadership, we said that we're just a small town Iowa couple with no online presence, just teaching in homes. And we've had so many messages of like, I just needed to hear that because I feel like I have to do all this online things. I'm not saying online stuff is bad, but I think it's hard.
It's expensive. We tried dabbling into it and it was expensive. And
it's hard to know what you're doing. And if it's your thing, go for it. But I think sometimes people just need to know, like, we're not saturated. Just keep doing one-on-ones and classes and helping people, and other people will want to do that with you, So it's worked for us.
I think it's a good point. There is, for the most part, there is no such thing as saturation with doTERRA. It's even, well, this spring when we came back through Utah, we went to Logan, which is it's a small town, and the lady that checked me out, she never even heard of doTERRA in Utah. So
Uber drivers at convention that have never heard of it or don't know anybody that does it, or like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, over in Logan, there are blue diamonds, and I'm not sure, but they may be presidential diamond over there. But there's a lot of people doing doTERRA, but you still run into people every day that have never heard of it. And we've had, well, like you guys, how big is the town you live in now?
30,000.
So that's a fairly small compared to Salt Lake or whatever. And you have all your builders are in your same town, right?
5 out of 6.
Leaders?
Yeah, 5 out of 6. So there's 2 diamonds here, presidential diamond, obviously us.
3 diamonds here.
3?
Mm-hmm.
3 diamonds here, presidential diamond, platinum. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's saturation is a myth.
Yeah. I like it.
Samantha it wasn't a question, but it was about the poor rural areas.
Yeah. I think people on our team had success doing a trio. So the intro trio for $20 and a membership. So a $55 kit, right? Still get the top 3 oils to get started. We would just have this conversation a day or 2 ago with some of our silvers and up we had at our home about, it's really not the enrollment, it's the LRP, right? And so if you get a membership and 1 bottle of On Guard, sure, that doesn't look super great, but if they get an LRP for the rest of their life, like, that's a jackpot. And so I think you can focus on a smaller starter kit if you need to, and then you focus on saving money, right? Like, we have 4 kids 7 and under. We've not taken anybody to the doctor except for a broken arm in years. Like, I went from $900 a month in Crohn's medications to LLV, Terrazyme, and PV Assist. Like, I'll pay that $120 any month over $900 a month. So talking about saving money, I think, is a big thing. And then you have a jackpot of an opportunity to talk about making money. Like, even if they just get their oils paid for, if you have a whole group of people who are struggling financially but are getting their oils paid for, what's that look like for your team? You have a whole group of people making at least $100 a month. Like, that's a great group of sharers right there. And so I think looking at the positive side of it is there are needs that need met. You can do that with doTERRA.
And transition your spending, right? Like if you're buying toothpaste from doTERRA, you're not going to buy toothpaste from wherever you get it now. You're not going to buy it both places. So you're going to start transitioning your spending from Target, Walmart, Amazon, whatever it is, to a great product, So that's a big one that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. If you can just get people to switch their daily stuff, like you said, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, some of that stuff, then and do it monthly, like you said, you're golden then. That's.
I always laugh thinking I don't know how people do $100 a month. How do you not do more? We also are home all day. Maybe that makes a difference with all of our kids, but we literally could not survive on $100 a tail order a month. We'd be crazy.
Yeah, 2 LLV alone, so.
Mm-hmm. I will cut you for that LLV.
And some Helichrysum as well.
Just saying.
Well, we're coming up on the hour here. Does anybody else have any questions for Matt and Bailey? Or
there was one we missed. Neil asked if we do team events. So we do every quarter. The silvers come to our house for some training. About 5 times a year total, we get all of our builders together because most honestly are local and do some training. And then we try to do a once a month online or in-person class where I'll teach and they can invite anybody they want. And so obviously they just come with their guests, they get the enrollment, I do the teaching. And then we sometimes do a customer appreciation Christmas party. They pay to come. We give free oils. It works.
Our leaders right now are developing a continuing ed program. So that's going to be for, all of our downline is once they get this developed, they're invited to come. I don't even know what the topics are. They're 8 topics. So there's different topics they can come learn about. I don't know if it's once a month or I don't know much about it. I just know that they're putting this awesome thing together to help get our current customers knowledgeable about the products, which then, hopefully that also increases LRPs and it's just better for everybody.
Cool. Perfect. Anybody else? Last chance. 10,
Somebody
9.
has a really important question that they're totally sitting on. I know it. There's always that one shy person.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, you've usually got something to say.
I was totally staring right at her the whole time I said that. I don't even know who she is.
See?
Please. Is that what her shirt says?
Would you guys stop sending out a vibe to me to make me do this stuff?
It's you sending a vibe to us.
Bullcrap. No, what
We're
I
reading
really
your vibes.
Okay, fine.
I
This
need
is
that
what I
shirt.
wanted to say. So we also have a bunch of kids, just like you guys. Yay. This has been super encouraging to me because our whole, we're basically doing what you're doing. And we're encouraging our team to do what you guys are doing. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it duplicatable. And so it's encouraging to me, and I'm sure my husband's traveling, but he's on this call too, is that we're going to make it, right? It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have fancy stuff. You don't have to know a bunch about stuff. You can just be a girl from Nebraska or a girl from Iowa and partner with your husband, partner with your friends, and do this and do it well. And you just don't have to make it super dramatic.
And I think, we did Truman's asked us to speak at an event in Chicago this summer. And my topic was, all I remember is the word grit now.
That's me too.
And literally our whole talk was about just be the example, right? Teach all the classes, not for other people, for yourself. And just have that grit and determination. I missed so many bedtimes for the first few years that we did this, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. The other side of this is a really beautiful hot mess of we can do whatever we want when we want. Matt left his job 1.5 years ago. It's so worth it on the other side if you can have that grit and determination, and most people don't have it. And so if you have that vision of where you're going and that you won't give up, right? Like I tell this story all the time. We walked this dang parade through all of our kids in the back of a gator in like 120 degrees, full humidity, handed out like hundreds of dollars of samples on this parade route. Thought it was like the best idea ever.
Because it was setting up for a class the last day of the month. And that was the day we were going to
That was the month we were going to go for Diamond, right? So everybody got the sample on the parade route and this little card about the class. I rented this stinking bank room, this stinking town. Nobody shows. So Matt drops me off because I had a baby that was nursing that wouldn't take a bottle. So he's going to go to the park with kids. I'm going to teach this dang class. We're going to close Diamond. Nobody shows. It's like 20 minutes in. I'm like in this dang bank room I paid for all by myself. Like, come back and get me. Nobody's here. So he drives up, like walk of shame, get in the car with all my stuff. And I'm like, well, I quit. We're not hitting Diamond. Like, this sucks. And he's like, well, yeah, so we're going to hit Diamond in like 30 minutes when this last order comes through. And I was like, what? I just quit. He's like, yeah, we're still going to hit Diamond tonight. So like, I literally quit on the night we hit Diamond. So like, you're going to have days you want to quit, even days you hit Diamond maybe. But just knowing that like, rinse, repeat, teach others to do it, keep going. Like is so awesome when you get to that point of time and financial freedom. So don't give up.
See, now more questions coming in.
Best advice all night. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Bert, when
Melissa
say
Melissa said what do we post on our team page? So like our user team page, we just post helpful things. So like we talk about Yarrow Plum and how it's amazing for your face because it improves collagen. And we just do a quick post, like 2 sentences with a picture, right? And then we do a post about like your own fabric softener. Add 20 drops of lemon to a gallon of vinegar and use that as fabric softener. Just quick things. Maybe once a day or every other day, and then most of it's questions, right? So Betty Sue wants to know what to use on her dog's abscess. And
really, that's best, right? Sure, it's great that people want to hear from us, but it gets to a point where they're like, okay, what else? Like, I'm sick of hearing from Matt and Bailey. So if people are posting their own issues and other people are starting to answer those questions, that's way more valuable than us posting all the time.
And I'm often allowed to say this. You can just cut this off early, Kenzie, but like I'm not compliant in there. Like you want to ask what to use for arthritis, like I'm going to tell you the answer. Pray to God that secret group stays secret because I'm there to help people and I'll go down in a blaze of glory helping people. So
I'm in agreement with that.
That's why like our public Facebook profile, like it's super lame and we never post in it because I have nothing to say that's compliant. So just don't.
Yep.
Kenzie, put your finger on the button. Well, we really want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this for us tonight. I know Romy and I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody else on the call does. You know, that's about all I can say. We appreciate it, and thank you.
No, we're super happy to help. This is fun. We love being able to answer questions.
Cool.
All right, if you want to stop the recording, we will do